Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the March 17th, 2021 meeting of the Planning Commission to order. We are conducting today's meeting in a virtual setting using Zoom. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live online through the city's website as noted on the agenda. If you'll join us now with the flag salute led by Commissioner Yeoman, please turn off your video.
All right, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States
of
of America,
and to the republic
for which
it
stands
one
one
nation
nation, under
under
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Play ball.
Thank you, Commissioner Yeoman. Stuart, can we have the roll call, please?
Yes, but first, as a reminder for staff, consultants, and applicants, please turn off your video and put yourselves on mute until your item comes up. Moving on to our roll call, Commissioner Gario,
Here.
Commissioner Talicio,
Here.
Commissioner Turley Trejo,
Here,
Commissioner Watts,
Here.
and Commissioner Yeomans.
Here.
And moving on to public comment. Stuart, do we have any public comments for the items not on the agenda?
The city has received no public comments for items not on the agenda. A total of 30 minutes is provided for members of the public to address the Planning Commission on matters not listed on the agenda. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes. For all public hearing items on the agenda, each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. For this meeting, public comments may be submitted and read into the record pursuant to the important notice provided at the top of the agenda. Any public comments that were accepted via email or by mail will be read into the record. Details associated with viewing the meeting, ADA accommodations, and submitting public comments were available on the agenda and on the city's social media platforms.
Thank you. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered to be routine. All will be enacted by one roll call vote. There will be no discussion of these items unless members of Planning Commission request specific items be removed from consent calendar for separate action. Item number 1 is a recommendation for the approval of action minutes of February 17th, 2021. Do we have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Yeomans,
Second.
by Watts,
Delesio second, I think.
a second by Telesio. Okay, we have a roll call, please.
Yes, Commissioner Gario,
Aye.
Commissioner Talicio,
Aye.
Turley Trejo,
aye.
Watts,
Aye.
and Yeomans. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to public hearing items, Stuart.
We will now move on to the public hearing portion of the meeting. Any persons may submit written comments to the Planning Commission before or during a public hearing in support or opposition to the approval of the projects in the manner prescribed in the important notice at the top of the agenda. If you challenge any of the projects in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing or in written correspondence delivered to the Commission Secretary at, prior to, or during the public hearing. Any person dissatisfied with the decision of the Planning Commission may file an appeal of the Commission's decision. Said appeal must be filed within 15 calendar days after the Planning Commission's decision. The appeal must be filed on the appropriate Community Development Department form and be accompanied by the appropriate filing fee.
Well done, Stuart.
Comment?
I said, well done, Stuart.
And moving on to agenda item number 2 is planning application PA 20-1074, conditional use permit application for proposed type 47 alcohol beverage control license for Topspin Pizza and Pong, future restaurant located at 28588 Old Town Front Street. Do we have a staff report on this?
Yes, we do. And can everybody see the screen here?
Yes, we
All
can.
right.
Looks good.
So I'm presenting Topspin Pizza and Pong conditional use permit. This is planning application number PA 20-1074. This is a conditional use permit for a proposed type 47, the on sale general eating place ABC license for Topspin Pizza and Pong, which is a future restaurant. If you recall, a Type 47 license allows restaurants to serve beer, wine, and distilled spirits. This project is located in the northeast corner of Old Town Front Street and 4th Street at 28588 Old Town Front Street, and it will be occupying the entire second floor. On September 10th, 2020, Jeffrey Lohman, on behalf of Topspin Pizza and Pong, submitted planning application PA20-1074, which is this conditional use permit to allow for an ABC Type 47. Similar to Coin-Op, which is located on the first floor right beneath Topspin, this proposed conditional use permit, or this restaurant, will occupy the entire second floor with its restaurant component, games, food. It will also be serving beer, wine, and distilled spirits. Minors are allowed on the premises. There is no live entertainment proposed. The proposed hours of operation will be every day of the week, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And the applicant has also offered to provide private security Friday through Sunday, 8 p.m. through 11 p.m. Here we're looking at a floor plan of the entire second floor. This totals about 7,500 square feet. The area you see highlighted here in blue totals about 2,000 square feet. This is where the ping pong component, the games component of the restaurant will take place. Again, this is about 2,000 square feet, and the area highlighted in red here totals about 3,000 square feet, and this is the restaurant component. In accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, the proposed project has been deemed categorically exempt from further environmental review, and this is per section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities. With that, staff recommends Planning Commission approve PA 20-1074, subject to the recommended conditions of approval. Staff is here to answer any questions you may have, as is the applicant, Jeffrey Lohman.
Thank you, Jaime. Let's start with Commissioner Felicio. Any questions of staff?
None of staff, no.
Commissioner Watts?
No.
Yeomans?
No.
Commissioner Turley Trejo?
Yeah, just a quick question. Jaime, can you go back to the other slide that shows the floor plan, please?
Yes.
And when you had it highlighted. So this is the entire second floor, like above the Coin-Op.
That's correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
And then the ping pong area is the blue and the red is the restaurant.
That's correct. Everything else, again, the total square footage is about 7,500 square feet. I didn't highlight the restrooms, hallways, the kitchen prep area,
Okay.
things like that.
Okay, all right,
Mhm.
thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you. Any further questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll open the public hearing. Stuart?
As a reminder, any public comments that were received by email and mail prior to this meeting will be read into the record. Any person wishing to submit comments during the meeting must submit comments via email prior to the close of the public hearing for the comment to be considered as part of the record. The email address for comments can be submitted can be found on the agenda.
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to address the commission?
Commissioners, we're excited to be here in Temecula. We already have an office. I have a law firm here in Temecula on Front Street as well. My wife and I have lived in the area since 1989. So we're just excited to be a part of the Front Street community and the businesses out here. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Jeff. Good to see you. Have we received any other public comments on this, Stuart?
We have not.
Okay, since we don't have any questions or comments,
Well, wait,
you do? Okay,
I have a question. Yeah. I didn't know you had already asked for questions. So Jeff, hello. I think it's great to have a facility with ping pong. That's a great idea. And it sounds like a great family activity too. So just a question on that and how, you know, how you're planning on keeping that kind of a family-friendly situation with the games and ping pong and because I know tonight we're, you know, the question is to approve a type 47 license. So just a question on that and how you plan on doing that.
Of course, I appreciate the question. Thank you, Commissioner. The ping pong tables, as Jaime showed in the plans, are situated as such so that there's going to be 6 together. The family element is really because we have 3 kids ourselves and are always looking for things to do with the family. So it's going to have more of a family atmosphere where kids are welcome. I would assume on weekends we're going to limit the kids to not beyond 9 o'clock just because of the crowds that Old Town Front Street receives. But during the day, you know, it's a great spot to come, bring your family, have pizza, play ping pong, and, you know, just get out.
Yeah. Love the idea of having the private security those last 3 hours that you're open. I think that's great. So anyway, that was just a question I had about, you know, trying to keep that atmosphere the way it sounds like it, you know, it's going to be with games and that kind of thing. So thank you.
Thank you.
okay. Any other questions of the applicant? Stuart, do we have any other public comments?
We do not.
Okay, hearing none, seeing none, then we'll close public comment, come back for discussion, commission discussion. We'll start with Commissioner Talicio.
I have no further comments. I think it's a good project for the same reasons as Trejo outlined. And in balance, it's probably a good thing for Old Town to have that balance going. So more of the same would be good.
Commissioner Ramos?
Got no comments. It's just, I agree with John. It's a great project for Old Town and a little more diversity down there.
Commissioner Watts?
No question.
And anybody else? Going once, going twice? All right, hearing none, we'll look for a motion in this.
I was just, okay. Can I say something? Okay.
Go on.
Yeah, so I do love the idea of having a place for families to be able to go in Old Town. So appreciate you bringing that forward and hope that you can be successful with that. And glad that you're here in town too. That's awesome.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Commission, public, all right. We'll move on now for a motion and a second.
I'll move the item.
Moved by Yeomans,
I'll second for lack of interest.
second by Talicio. We have a vote, please, Stuart.
Yes, sir. Commissioner Garrio,
Aye.
Commissioner Talicio,
Here,
here or I?
here and I is here.
Excellent, thank you. Commissioner Turley Trejo,
Hi.
Commissioner Watts,
Aye.
and Commissioner Yeomans. Motion carries 5-0.
I will, thank you all. Okay, commissioner reports. Because we're in a virtual setting, I'll ask colleagues individually for their comments, starting with Commissioner Talicio.
No comments.
Commissioner Watts.
2 things. Number 1, I've been neglectful, and I wanted to thank the IT department for putting these meetings together. It's gone flawless ever since we started, and they're always there to help. And I just really appreciate that. And I just wanted to shout out for the IT department. Secondly, Mr. Watson, as I drove through Old Town today, it was very, very busy. St. Patrick's Day probably had something to do with that. But I was just curious, maybe at a future meeting, maybe an update on what the plans are for the street dining that's currently in place. And rather than put you on the spot now, maybe at the next meeting or two, maybe you could come back with some report on that. I'm just curious if that's going to be a long-term thing or what. Anyhow, those are my two comments. Thank you, Chair.
Mr. Yeomans?
Just want to compliment staff on the presentation we made to the city council meeting. It was well organized. A lot of good facts. I like the way we shook it up between all the commissioners. Well done.
Commissioner Charlie Trejo. Commissioner Charlie Trejo, do you have any comments?
And she froze.
Did you go to sleep?
I think her computer froze up.
Should we wait for her to come on? There you go. You have any questions? You're on.
Are you asking me?
You, yes.
I don't have any questions. Yes, okay, it kind of froze a little bit. I don't know what happened. I didn't really hear what Gary said. Yeah, a couple of things. First of all, Ron, you did a great job on our planning commission presentation.
Ron brought his guitar.
Hit your computer a couple of
I
times.
thought that was very professional, and I at work. I was a little worried about it, and anyway, I mean, I could phone anyway, but you did a great job of highlighting everything that's been done this last year, and it was really excellent. And then I also wanted to tell Luke publicly, I already told him, but that was just an amazing presentation. Just so thorough and right. We've had public speaker, I think it explained well what we could and couldn't do. And anyway, I was trying to put myself in one of those community members who was worried about this and speaking up about it. And I think my questions would have been answered. And I think that that was tremendous, really. And then I appreciated the conversation and discussion after with the city council members and of what we can do in the city. And it just felt like it was really a positive way of approaching something that we don't have a lot of control over, right? And anyway, I appreciated you, Luke, and how you represented us really, and community development, and your staff, who I'm sure helped you with that presentation. So just, I thought it was a highlight, really of what I've seen. So thank you very much.
No, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
And again, I'll reiterate what I said the other night. The four of you that I work with on this commission are probably some of the four of the best that I've worked with on all the commissions in the past 30 years. I want to thank you for that. I mean every word of it. And Luke, I'll reiterate, your presentation was spot on. I think it answered a lot of questions. I don't know about going public with that. It was pretty lengthy, but maybe a condensed version would be great. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if the state could ever come up with an actual definition of what affordable housing is other than income. And the VMT thing, I'm still not sure we're ever going to get through that, but maybe we could have another discussion from our esteemed legal staff on VMT at some point. Maybe they can break through the monotony of it. Oh, I didn't mean monotony. Did I mean monotony? I'm sorry, Sacramento. Yeah, at any rate, is that it? Any other comments? Okay, then we'll go to subcommissioners, subcommittee reports. Do we have any? No, I don't think so. Okay, Luke, you have a report for us.
Yeah, just quickly, a couple things to Commissioner Watt's comments about the outdoor dining program that we have in Old Town. I think the easy answer is that it hasn't been decided yet on which way we're going. We actually just had an internal staff discussion today, And next Tuesday, we're having a Old Town Steering Committee meeting with the 2 council members that are on that committee, which is a public meeting. It'll be available to watch online if you want to do that, or submit comments, or know people that want to submit comments. So that's a public meeting next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. And that will be the topic. You know, what are we going to do going forward with what is going on out there? So I'm sure there's going to be plenty to talk about. A lot on both sides of that issue. So
that's right before the city council meeting?
Yeah.
Wow.
Be right before. Yeah. 2 hours before.
Yeah.
So that's that. More to come on that. That's gearing up. All the license agreements currently end July 1st out there. So we're trying to have that conversation before that kind of sneaks up on us. And then the second thing is I just wanted to talk a little bit about some developments down in Old Town. I know that we've talked a lot about CUPs for alcohol and some of the behavior down there that's been not so great. And what are we going to do about it, and how are we going to approach the kind of the evolutionary period that Old Town is in and continues to move through as an entertainment district. And the city has stepped up and created what we're calling the Metro Beat, which is a dedicated set of 6 officers to Old Town, along with 1 sergeant as their supervisor. And their beat is Old Town. So while all officers are available throughout the city, their actual patrol will be just Old Town. So they'll be on foot. They'll also be in their cruiser, but mostly on foot. And the goal is for them to get around and meet all the property owners, meet all of the business owners, all of the characters, everybody that's down in Old Town. So, and to have everyone on a first name basis, have the cell phone numbers. I think it's pretty obvious that that's gonna bear a lot of fruit over time as we kind of make a more concerted effort to police things in Old Town. I think it's a really good thing. They have only been on the beat for less than a week, and they've been busy. So they've made some arrests for some warrant violations and many moving violations for cars and a whole bunch of other things. So I think that's a good development. I know that some of you have been asking me about these things for quite some time, what the city was going to do in response to just the changing environment down there, particularly at night. And I think this is a significant investment by the city to take 6 officers, and they won't all be on duty at once, right? So they'll be on shifts, but their beat is Old Town. That's their primary responsibility for the city of Temecula. And I think I think we're going to see some good things out of that, and I'm hopeful about that. So I wanted to let you know about that, and if you have any questions, go ahead and fire away.
I had a question, just a comment, but community policing started years ago up in LA, and very, very effective. When we first incorporated down on Pujol Street, if you remember, that was a mess down there, the gang infiltration and stuff. And we put the caboose down there and put a couple of deputies down there. And I think within about 2 or 3 months' time, they had that place cleaned up. So it's just an example of how community policing works, and certainly glad to see the city going forward with it.
Very good.
Yeah, just a comment. I think it's great. I hope that it will really kind of take care of what we want it to take care of. And what else was I going to say? That, oh, I lost my thought. But anyway, I'm glad that they're doing that. And I hope we can kind of think about too. Oh, I know what I was going to say. If you can, Luke, maybe kind of give us, like you just gave us an update, right, of what happened this last week or whatever, dates of how it is going down there, so we can see how that's working. That I would really appreciate that.
Sure.
I know there's community members that have talked to me about not being able to take their families down there at night, it's a concern. And so or even sometimes during the day. So I want to be able to reply to them, and have some way of giving them feedback of what's happening.
Yeah, and hopefully,
So thank
yeah, hopefully that the presence of the officers will also just make a difference for them, just in their personal experience, and the way they feel in Old Town too,
right.
regardless of the stats, because the stats, I mean, most of the activities at night, late at night, so the stats you'll see will be kind of skewed towards a time of the day when most people aren't in Old Town. But we can certainly do that. We can collect that from the captain, and he's actually provided some to us this week. So we'll just have him keep doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. That's all I had today, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And then maybe when things get back to normal, we can go back to visiting the city like we used to.
Yeah.
Kind of miss that, going back and saying, I think we all do it as we're driving around town. We're looking at what's being built and what stage of development it's in. And I think it was worthwhile. So,
Well, we haven't done that in so long. I'm looking forward to it too. There's going to be a lot to see.
yeah,
That's going to be, we might have to do a couple of trips around the city. It's been quite a while, but yeah, no, we're looking forward to that. And I can't announce anything yet because I don't have the authority, but we're moving in the right direction, and there's going to be announcements soon on timing for opening the city back up. So
appreciate it. Thank you.
Awesome.
yep.
Okay, Mr. Marino, are you there? Good evening.
Good evening, commissioners. Nice to see you all tonight. I just wanted to let you know that our pavement rehab project is moving forward in the business park. So if you hear about anything going on, that is going to be night work only, but that is happening. And all of our other projects are moving forward as scheduled. So if you have any questions for me, I'd love to answer them tonight.
I have a question. How's the RC, the Water District project? How's that?
That has been going really well. They're now in phase 2B, which means they are now getting into Jedediah Smith and past. The impacts have been, of course, difficult for residents, but not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. It's been actually quite nice, and Pechanga Parkway is been freed up quite a bit now, so there's no delay over there. We've been tracking the delays, and they've been an average of 7 to 10 minutes, so not really bad. But of course, if you're a resident, you do notice it, you do see that, you feel it, but and not nearly as bad as what we thought it was going to be. So that project is going really well, and they've RCWD's worked with us really well to pull up traffic control on the weekends, get traffic moving. So it's been actually quite well, and so we're still on track to finish before June.
And is it just Monday through Friday that they're doing it, not on the weekends?
Not on the weekends. We have permitted a couple of Saturday work schedules just because we wanted to get this project done and completed. However, the contractor, EJ Myers, has been excellent, and they really know what they're doing. They're moving quickly. So we think that this is going to finish up with residents looking back and saying this wasn't as bad as what we thought it was going to be.
And then also one question on, that new Mexican food place that's on Pechanga Parkway.
Yeah.
Seems like they're kind of at a standstill, right? Or has anything been going on there?
That project admittedly has taken longer than what was expected. They have ran into a couple of issues with their contractors, so it's gone a little slow. It's never been at a standstill, but it has moved slower than what you would expect for a restaurant. However, it looks like they're about ready to complete. Parking lot's done. The interior looks amazing. I think you guys will be really impressed with what they've done on the inside. I've never seen a kitchen like that. The paintings are beautiful. The amount of seating they have, I would say, to tell you the truth, they've not gone as fast as we thought just because of COVID. What's the rush to get open when they couldn't open? And so they've kind of taken their time in that respect, but it's really going to be a beautiful restaurant at the end of the day. It looks amazing inside. I think everyone will be impressed. And so we expect them to complete within the next probably month or two. I think they'll be done.
And then I've kind of forgotten when we voted on it, like because that road gets really crowded. Is there a turn in that goes into the restaurant itself?
No, they have a
Or
left.
how does that work?
They have a left in that's dedicated. They don't have a deceleration lane, but what we did do is expand their commercial driveway to allow them to have a little more refuge, the traffic to be able to get in there. So we think it's going to work just fine without the decel lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
You bet. Yeah. Have a great evening.
Any other questions of Mr. Marino? Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Seeing none, then we'll look for a motion to adjourn
Move we adjourn. To the next
until
meeting.
I second it.
the next meeting of April 7th. Wow.
It looks like it's we got a thing that said it was canceled. No,
Is it canceled?
that's what Denise sent us.
I think the official cancellation notice hasn't gone out. It was the internal planning kind of projecting forward document. But the
Oh, okay.
cancellation notice isn't given until much closer to the meeting time.
Okay, so then we'll wait for the official notice of whether or not the meeting is canceled for April 7th. And when and if it does come, we'll take a vote on it anyhow. All in favor?
Aye.
And
Hi.
y'all take care. That's it. Have a good time.
Good night, everybody.
Mr.
Thanks.
Chair.
Good night.